Hello and welcome back to my channel. We are almost done catching up on our codex. It means we're back to gameplay next video unless I add gameplay in between these videos. I'm not really sure how I want to do it yet. But let's go ahead and jump right in. The Legend of Callahan, Chapter 2. With the allegiance of Arl Midrin, Callahan began his rise to greatness. Some of Maldron's allies also pledged allegiance, but most thought him foolhardy. A boy commander was to lead them and become king. Over the years that followed, however, Callan would prove himself worthy of Maldron's trust. With each victory, he won over more men to his command, and his reputation as a man of honor spread. Eventually, during his campaign against the lowland Baron, he met his most infamous friend and companion, the vaulted warrior lady Shalyn. Galahad married the famously beautiful daughter of Maydream. I'm so slaughtering these names. And his firm belief in the ways of the Chantry became the staple of his court. In a time when the Chantry was still new to the lands, and courts following Andraste held a majority of the power in Ferelden, Callan had begun to solidify the nation as one in line with the other nations around it. This Purdy eventually won over to Callan had those faithful in Ferelden who had been waiting for such a leader. With Lady Shayna at his side, Galahad was unstoppable, and by 542 Exalted, the war for Ferelden had come down to one final battle against the collected forces of the Simon. Tyrant of Durham and the most potent noble in the land, Galahad persuaded the Circle of Magi to come to his aid, as well as the Ash Warriors. And in the Battle of White Valley, he famously defeated tyrant Simon and united the nations. During the battle, Simon nearly killed Galahad, but Lady Shayna intervened and took the wound for him, slaying Simon. Callan was crowned king in Durham that year, with Marion his queen, but he spent much of his months that followed nursing Lady Shayna back to health. King Galahad's Ferelden was peaceful for a time, with the Chantry spreading quickly under the king's guidance. Everywhere the king and queen went, they were surrounded by cheering crowds. The common folk celebrated Galahad as one of their own who had achieved the impossible, and trade opened with many of the outside lands for the first time in Ferelden's existence. But with many such golden ages, it was not to last. From the Legend of Galahad by Brother Heron, Chancery Scribe 810 Blessed. The First Blight, Chapter 4. We're missing so many chapters. Founded at Westhoft Fortress in the Anderfels, the Grey Wardens offered humanity hope in its darkest hour. Veterans of decades of battles with the Darkspawn came together, and the best amongst them pledged to do whatever was necessary to stem the tide of the Darkspawn that swept across the land. Those great humans, elves, and dwarves pooled their knowledge of the enemy and formed a united front to put a stop to the archdemon's rampage. And stop it they did. Ballads are still sung today of the first Grey Warden's charge into the wave of Darkspawn at the city of Nordbottom, each Warden facing 10 or 20 Darkspawn at a time. Squadrons of Grey Wardens mounted on their mighty griffins, soaring through the blackened skies and battling the terrible archdemon with spears and spell. Oh, what a sight it must have been. Incredibly, the Grey Wardens won the first battle. They raised their arms in victories, and suddenly there was hope. The Grey Wardens led the land of the men, and the last stalwart defenders of Dorvan halls against the horde of the archdemon, Dunmad, for the next 100 years, gaining and losing ground, but never backing away. For all over Thedas, they recruited whoever posed the skill and strength to raise the Grey Warden's banner, making no distinction between elven slave or human nomad. And finally, nearly 2 centuries after the first old god rose from the earth, the Grey Wardens assembled the armies of the men and dwarves at the Battle of Silent Fields. It was then that Dormant finally fell and the First Blight ended. The Tevinter Imperium would face a new challenge with the coming of the prophet Andraste. Thoughts of the Blight grew distant. With Dormant's defeat, the Darkspawn were no longer considered a threat, but with the wisdom of hindsight, we know that concept proved foolish indeed. The task of the Grey Wardens was far from over. From the tales of destruction of Tevinter by Brother Javindri, Chantry Scholar. The Legion of Steel. Paragon Karadin vanished in the 11th year of the reign of King Valter, and with the Paragon, the entire process of the golem manufacture was lost. Expeditions were sent into the deep roads to track him, but the Darkspawn drove them all back. Finally, in the 2nd year of the reign of the Queen Yetta, 126 golems, the entire Legion of Steel, were sent to recover the Paragon. None returned. The Shaper of Golems refused to support any further attempt to find Cardarin, and the Paragon was officially declared dead. The Shepherd never recovered from the loss of an entire legion of golems, and never again allowed all golem regiment in the deep roads. From Stone Halls of the Dwarves by Brother Javindri, Chantry Scholar. Turin's Journal. 21 Feverint. Notice Gurim running around trying to get pieces of my siblings' ceremonial armor ready for the feast. Stopped him and asked him how preparations were going. He mentioned that one of the bracers had a spot of tarnish on it. Was quite impressed at his dedication. He is most loyal of our family. 23 Fervensis. Was on way to discuss the treaty with father, when came across a messenger waiting in the hall. One being asked why he was loitering about the royal palace. He mumbled something about having a gift for the new commander, and asked me, begged almost, to pass along some object or other to my sibling. Me, the heir to the throne of Ozamar, does not run errands for a messenger? Must have been new on the job. Had him thrown out. However, still reeling from the gall of it. Learned later that Behelin had told Messenger that quickest way to get things to our siblings was through me, and had made him wait until I came by so unseemingly for a Prince of Ozamar to play such tricks. He needs to grow up and understand that as royalty, he has responsibilities. 24 for Venice. Found Belham's little playmate again, lurking about the corridors outside his bedroom this morning. Must have been trying to steal something, or already had. Bosom seemed fuller than most decent ladies, some jewels hidden in the bodice. Anyway, pretended not to see her. Would have been awkward otherwise. Wish Behelin would keep her confined to his room. If he must have her around, little brother is too concerned with fun and pleasure, and not serious enough about his duties as prince. Must talk to him about discipline have time. Unfortunately, much too busy with the many tasks father has laid upon my shoulders. 26 Evertus. Remember to send all token of gratitude to Jalea Helmi. Alliance between Helmi and Adukin must be kept strong. Lady Jahela will, of course, accept proposal of marriage, since will be king sooner or later, but never hurts to be polite and keep the lady happy. Hear that there are some surfacers selling silks. Maybe we'll send second out for something nice. Jolina's favorite color, turquoise. 28th favorite. Heard about there being provings held in our siblings' honor. They did not have provings for me at my first commission, and I am the heir. What's going on? Must go watch these provings. Must make presence felt. Ozamar must not forget I am to be her next king. From the Journal of Turin Atticus. I don't know. I'm so sure. Okay, more notes. Load limit reached. Mass will have an effect, he says, as long as it lifts us out. I figure should have specified within my lifetime. Gives us time to talk, he says. How's a dwarf get named sheriff? Up your shaft. No, really, because blah blah blah. Axe answers, but I still hear him. Drip ground, drip ground. Worse than his talking. Think I'll drop out for some air. Expert dwarf verse in 1 volume. Section Lord limit reached. Anonymous scratching recovered from a cage hoist eventually. The Black Files. Binding the first corpse walker. Let the dead no longer serve your whim. Bound by your true name, no mortal hand shall reach you. Cal Vinsagate, revenant and provision of an only son. Death beyond death is no longer your stepping stone through the veil. Andraste holds you, demon, and binds your rage for eternity. 6 thumbprints in blood mark the end of the text. Binding the second corpse walker. Cast from your host, may you find no purchase on mortal ground. Bound you by your true name, as we are sworn to do. Nathermus Biggles, revenant and provision of a fine daughter. No more will you test the veil, nor reach the fade to escape. Andraste hold you, demon, and bind your range for eternity. 6 thumbprints in blood mark the end of the text. Correspondence. My dearest Virginia Troyal, regarding Bowdice Ripped, enclosed are 7 silver and my most heartfelt apologies for Bowdice. I would blame the cold ocean spray and loss of my favorite shirt, the buckle of saldation, or perhaps the strain of maintaining all such elements while sitting for a portrait, but I was certainly not myself. I hope you will forgive me and not take it upon yourself to find your own determined way in this world. Yours, Sir Rival Grossman. Dear Sir John, your mistress while we intended hold no promise. Do not despair, for it is not you, it is of me. I require an interval to acquit myself with personage you awakened. I'm certain we can maintain an assembly accord, and the engagement with our mutual associations will not be awkward. Mari. To one's paramour, when last we embraced, one noticed the reluctance of another's company, but one was unmindful. His most eminent Sir Further Harpsmith Oval 3. I don't know, I'm struggling here. My love, I long to dance you beneath the moonlight, our hearts beating like the paired wings of a dove in concert with the glory of the Maker and the beauty of the world that we must shepherd in his absence. Join me in purity that will last the ages when the brothers mark the chant of light anew. With all my soul, Eric the novel, scribbled below in a delicate handwriting. Otter's pockets, he's earned it tonight. That was hard. Circles within circles, why not? Arguments between the various fraternities have become more frequent and heated. I have alerted the College of Magi in Cumberland that it this needs to be addressed in coming debates, but I fear relationships with the Chantry might distract them. I am confident that I can appease the Equinox and Loyalists, but the Libertarians are proving diverse. Are the isolationists even interested in speaking? The threat of the Blythe has actually served some good in unifying us under a common cause, but it does not bode well that any given table in the Great Hall is likely to become ideologically weighted against its neighbor. We can be such a moody bunch staring over RT. Excerpt from First Enchanter Irving's notes on Unity. Irving's mistake. I followed another apprentice through those supposed secret maneuvers today and exposed her tendency towards blood magic. The environment of the tower is such that certain modes of thought are encouraged. Both are good and ill. The students think we toy with them. The truth is far more intricate and direct. Deviant traits must be exposed early, or the whole of the circle suffers. Alderin has been very helpful in identifying the markers to look for. His skills at misdirection are admirable. I dare say the apprentice would be shocked at his ability to manipulate them. I must organize a retreat such that the other enchanters can benefit from his skills. Excerpt from Journal of First Enchanter. Irving, well, didn't that end up blowing up in his face? Extracurricular studies. I have the utmost sympathy for what happened to your charge, but it is beyond the circle's ability to anticipate every obstacle demise that an apprentice might face, especially involving methods outside that already extreme realm of magic studies. We simply do not have room for additional training faculties, and there are concerns about becoming too inclusive that I will not elaborate on. Your request is denied. First Enchanter Sinclair. If space is your excuse, I will surrender my quarters. If it is about money, I will hire the appropriate people. I will not graduate another student ignorant of weapons that any ditch digger can shovel into his ribs. We teach them to append ridiculous glamours on parade arms, but they don't know simple steel. That is criminal. Enchanter Bergren. Notice here within that the exercise area on the 4th floor shall serve as a permanent berthing for the Templar garrison station at the tower. Since the faculties that accommodate the particular training requirements are already on hand, they will be assuming an even closer watch over circle affairs. Enchanter Bergering's optional weapon training is cancelled until further notice. Enchanter Bergering has additionally stepped down from teaching duties. First Enchanter Sinclair, man, he got fired. Summoning Science. Okay, we did read this first part. The second half of the Torn book. The Summoning Science. Seagull will ignite upon ritual initiation. If the order is incorrect, the ritual will reset. Oh man, there was an actual thing to how to do this instead of just clicking aimlessly. Exercise 1. Address the summoning font. Select the second passage from the Tomb of Spirits personage. Second shelf. Pass open hands through the first summoning flames. Select first flame. Exercise 2. Address the summoning font. Recruit the Rodder comms uncommon calling. First column. Support shelves. Place a silver coin at the feet of the statue of Magus Gorish. Pass open hand through the second summoning flame. Third exercise. Alert Senior Mage of Lesson Commencements. Address the summoning font, or recite the second passage of Elverin's Grand Vestries. Sealed text, third area. Trace the chosen sigil on the first area common table. Place a locket of hair between the pages of the Spiritorum Etherolaces. Right of the sealed text. Perform Callum's gesture 2 fingers at the statue of Malgrins, breathe on the dried hemlock in the novice Velascatary, second column support shelf, pass open hand through third summoning flame. And that got us the Spirit Hog, the equivalent of the Fade bottom feeder. The gullet of the Spirit Hog can contain minor gems, presumably collected from Earthril elements in the Fade. Such creatures cannot survive in the mortal realm without a summoner intervention. Trickster Whim, and a moral entity that delights in observing her corporeal and emotional discomfort. A dangerous preference given that the creature have little understanding of or interest in the fragility of mortal flesh. Fade Riffer. The Riffer is an assembled consciousness given form in the moment of the ritual. Its appearance is intended to frighten the summoning apprentice, ensuring that they respect the Fade. While essentially a construct, the beast is nonetheless very real and possesses a fearsome will to be free. The Dead Casts. May this report find the proper eyes to affect future tactics. We found an enclave of spawn, possibly a breeding lair, but we could not make an approach. There were far more spawn than anticipated, and I divided the squad to draw the main body of the horde away. I do not expect to survive, but I have made certain that most of the men will see another day. I am torn by this, as my petition will go unheard, and that may curse many more legion than would die here. But I simply cannot abandon the men I have looked in the eyes and called brother. Perhaps they will not thank me for this, believing themselves already dead, but where there is life, there is hope. I will not be the last to see their worth. From the recovered Legion of the Deathfield report by Lord Dursfield. Casualty. Dursfield lieutenant found dead with his squad. The corpse was left untouched, suggesting the Darkspawn feared his spirit even in death. His ferocity defending his men was corroborated by survivors before they succumbed to corruption. It is rare for a soldier's actual death to exceed the honors given at his enlistment, but Fereld was an odd one, an agitator. His erratic promise were destructive, and I fear his death may demoralize more of the Legion than actually heard his fantasies firsthand. He was committed to the stone of his insight, as honorable a berry as we can manage with the spawn at our heels, but officially he has formed a second front. Better his foolish hopes are diluted by time than killed outright. From a bi-weekly casualty report by Sergeant Unger. By virtue of honor, ancestry, and great personal sacrifice on the part of its last descendant, the joining of House Ferelden and Legion of the Dead is recognized as a worthy investigation by the memories. If the Legion provides intact and sufficient relationship with the Legion of the Dead may be acknowledged as a minor nobility, albeit with the restrictions. This minor house will now undergo the generational process of admittance to the memories. May honor come to its descendants, as recorded by the memories. The Gangru Shade. The stone has a will that surrounds and directs. She guides even when we are willfully blind to her influence, but she is not pure. The stone bears a corruption as old as balance. For the dwarves to prosper and Gangru, the waste and unstable rock, must be cut away. But like the stone, the Gangru also has an influence. Each of us must face this, must carve the worst of ourselves away. But the Legion of the Dead bears a unique responsibility. Only the fully adored of the Legion, can face the Gunguru, can cut into the darkness that afflicts the raw stone. She encircles us, and we must protect her. Here, where darkness meets light, a legion of the dead inscription undated. The Sharper's life. The blessing of the Sharper is given only to those who walk with the stone. It is a path that cuts deep, and the road is far from secure. But those who desire to work in the memory must first honor it. Document the stone, protect her, and present a new history to the memories. Only then will the blessing of Shaperate be upon you. From the Shaper's life. Before the Darkspawn, the stone held an empire. Dozens of Thangs, each cavern a shade of dwarven pride, communities separated but united. They fell by degrees, ruined, crumbled into tombstone, a forgotten glory. But the stone is a living history, and absence can reveal more than constant scrutiny does. As the stone shifts, she chooses what remains buried and what must see the light. The Shapers must return, must walk the lost way, so the children of the stone can see what has been surrendered and what can be gained. This is the sacrifice of the Shaper, the lost way from the Shaper's life. Topsider's honor. The stone takes this topsider as she would welcome her own. He was born to air and sky, but was served the deep roads better than a native son. Many will see another day because he fought at our sides. So Topsider's honor. There must always be another to take up arms against darkness. That is the core of the true family beyond kin, and unifying link that will bring day to night and allow the fallen to rest. Restored inscription, Trialmont's family blade. Asunder. The ritual was very specific, as such things probably should be. Torus head and limbs spread amongst the deep roads to prevent the creature from returning. Looks like they died during the cutting, but we can fulfill the last part in their stead. I'm not familiar with elven ritual. Why would I be? But it seems pretty straightforward. Sharper axis. Scribed into the corner. Never even saw the thing. Bet a sword would take care of it. Sawed it, and this bag of legs. Might not be elven, maybe human. It doesn't matter. Can we still follow directions? Torso, head, and limbs bagged and dismembered. Simple enough. This magic stuff doesn't seem that complicated. Sharper axis. Scribbled in the corner. No job for a warrior. First hole gets the bag. A torn ritual page of indeterminable origin. The body rendered to its separate parts, spread wide such that no life is witnessed, no heartbeat detected. In this way, the beast can remain for an age as unknown. Knowledge passes and pursuers live out their lives. Scribbled in the corner. I was wrong. Not elven. Hunters didn't kill it. It allowed this. It allowed this. Keep the pieces apart, I guess. Away from the heart. The scratching should be unreadable, but meaning swarms in your head as though whispered. The limbs mere meat, the torso but a vessel, the head all but unnecessary, the heart separate but keeps alive. The heart safe from the blade can be restored. The heart waits in the fade. Rough inscription, unknown author. Let's see. 5 pages for mages. Spark he the words and brought life. Speak you the words ascension. Answer lies in text ineligible. Note on the page below. Here I began my study, knowing full well it will change the circle forever. Let history mark the date that this work began, 929 Dragon, so that when new calendars are put to paper, the date for fonts 0.0 is known with certainty. from the months of the gods, finally to the people through me, Enchanter Froston. Spake he the words and brought life. Speak the words extension. Some answer lies in text ineligible. Note on the page below, 479 sovereigns plus favor, immortality worth every coin, words of creation, proof of the maker. No one must know until translations are completed. I will have first enchanter, the ear of the kings. I will own kings, glory, everlasting enchanter. Muldery. Notes on the wondrous discovery, a strange script, uniform by steady hands. Yes, one would expect an agent of the maker to be steady. In fact, it follows all my exceptions of the words of the maker would bestow. It is perfect, and once translated, I will have such fun lording this over Chantry, worth every penny. Enchanter Grintus. Maker, take the vendor a copy, a fake. Why didn't I see? It was obvious. Fake. Laughingstock. No one must know. Ben Jornum, I find him, I'll kill him. And the words elude me, but I will defy their obstinance. Worked by the old gods or the maker himself, I will writing their secrets into my hands. I need the essence of the powerful and the pure. And so begins a bloody road, but at the end, godhood, the keys to the Black City. Enchanter Romanus. Watchguard of the Reaching. I'm telling you guys, it's a test like the summoning. Why else would lessons be cancelled? And that outburst at the library with Earlden, an older tomb fell to the page on the reaching scale, or on the reaching. I copied what I could before they pushed us out. The ritual note. A sword lowered to strike through the ground. You can't tell me I wasn't supposed to see that. It's too convenient. I'm looking for more. And you be smart to help. Grant. No, no, no. And stop asking. I'm not getting in trouble because of you again. I don't care what's in the basement, and neither do the senior magi. Everything is about Orldon and the upper levels. I don't know what you're digging up, but those tombs are way older than our lesson texts. An apprentice shouldn't touch them. Ritual notes. The thread burned before a giant spear raised. He stands alone, so whispers are known false. Noel. Scribbled in the corner. Don't need him. Orlwen knew reaching. First enchanter Dovrin fell suddenly in a disease of the lungs. This unfortunate disruption in the direct line of descent from the tower founding should be treated as opportunity. The circle will reform practice to better address the times. Many rituals remain valuable, but some, the two Bell Colonels Lanet, Watchguard of the Reaching, Belford, have little, no meaning in our text. We will move forward as Dovrel would have wished, and commit these and other memories to the age we have left, with no plan of estate. His belongings have been transferred to the common library for the benefit of all. Expert Circle of Magi Declaration, Kinlock Hold Translation, 590 Exalted, scribbled in the corner, reaching again. And old. They don't know. Idiots. Wards weaken. Today we pass even further, far beyond any reach of old man. The invented goal low of the Black City was always on the horizon of prediction, but a path that eludes. As always, untraveled in memory, living or otherwise, there is a pool and whispers abroad. Something about, something great is there, and away from this, always in peripheral. Another mine, untethered. Tomorrow I will reach out with the full intention and try to rescue him from his listing. Can someone else have come this far? The wonders we will share. Ritual notes. The vessel in hand, words from another time drip literal power. Documents of the reaching estimate 2nd century ancient first enchanter appointed watchguard of the reaching, to be held in secret, scribbling in the corner. Reaching before the circle? Someone else is in the fade? I want this. His silver cord transmute black. There is no wonder his form shattered. What returned was not of the mortal nor native fade. Does afterthought prove the gods with action is long missing? There is no purpose to this beast. Let the strength of the tower wither it and memory pass. The only legacy to be taught, stay focused within the fade. Whims escape to their own action. Ritual notes. A sword raised to sever connection. Documentation of the reaching. Estimated 2nd century. Ancient first. Enchanter appointed watchguard of the reaching to be held in secret. Scribbled in the corner. Cord. Peasant magic? Must know. Can almost see. Whispers want. Heavily scribbled. Whispers say Great Hall hidden above us the whole time. The vessel in hand. Words from another time drip literal power. Put on bowl. A sword raised to sever connection. Cut cord. A sword lowered to strike through the ground. Bile. The threads placed before a warrior. Spear raised, shielded from each side. So whispers are known false. Where is this? It whispered order, but not where. It's in my head. Shall whirl. A collection of powerful but undirected thoughts whole escaped in the fade. Such a being is in direct opposition to singular focus and drive. Distractions made flesh. The mind or minds that loosened this within the fade must have been powerful and ancient indeed. The spot. Maker's wind. Descartes, I said I would wait, but it's not just a disagreement. Earlden set abominations loose. One was in my mentor's robe. If you make it here, something in the spot may help you out. No point in hiding it from the senior mage's nail, and don't worry about Doris's unusual fee for moving his bed. He's dead. Apprehensive maiden. Okay, that was awful. I'm getting worse at reading this, or it's getting harder to read. One of the two. I'll let you decide, I guess. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video, where we get back to gameplay, now that we kind of know what's going on, but a lot has been read. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!